We had Bonnie the Bunny, I guess. Oh, they put Free Palestine in their bio. That's funny. Bonnie the Bunny is apparently a Gimmick account. It's got 11K followers, and they were like, hey guys, as someone with a decent following here, I feel like it's my responsibility to use my platform to spread awareness and try to help those in need. I stand with Iran wholeheartedly. This is what I hate about this, right? There are so many people that are just like, we stand with Iran, and it's like, okay, the protesters or the government? Like, you gotta be a little more fucking specific here. The billionaires who kill, eat, and rape children are not those to be sided with or to be sympathetic to. The ones in the Western countries or the ones in the Middle Eastern countries? Because, like, I still don't know whose side you're on here. If you at all align with them, I do not want you following me. This is time for resistance. America and Israel are once again exploiting their power to try and wipe another country from the Arab world, and it's disgusting. Oh no, it's retarded. If the people of Iran wanted this, I don't see the issue in that regard. This isn't trying to wipe another country from the Arab world. It's giving the Iranians the ability to rule themselves once again, like before Khomeini took power. When women actually had rights, imagine that. Kind of crazy. Who would give women rights, am I right? This ending with a free Iran makes this amazing, yeah? Yeah, right? Furry would literally be stoned to death. It's just like, what the actual fuck are you talking? This person fell hook, line, and sinker for that, like, psyop that Data Republican was talking about. They fell for it, man. I like to keep things lighthearted here. Yeah, lighthearted, like talking about the eating and raping the children that the billionaires do. But I simply cannot ignore this. Free Palestine and free Iran. Again, as someone who doesn't know all that much about the sandbox, when you put free Palestine and free Iran in the same sentence, and I can look at Iran and their people are like, yes, we are free, we can take our own destiny, that makes me think, like, maybe you don't know anything about what's going on. Maybe you know even less than I do. Yes, we are freeing Iran. Yeah, we are freeing Iran. And there were some people who were just like, but Kirsche, what you can't say like the people of Iran are okay with this and that makes it okay, because like, what if foreigners look at Minnesota and they saw all of the anti-ICE protests there and then they thought that all Americans were anti-ICE? I don't think those are equivalent, because ICE isn't actually running around killing thousands of people. Trump has not shut off our internet to ensure that only state-funded propaganda can escape. Those things aren't happening. The leftist communist LARPers in the United States who are anti-ICE wish they had even an ounce of legitimacy that the protesters in Iran had. The protesters in Iran actually wanting to overthrow their dictator is what the leftists think of themselves in America. The problem is that the Iranians were actually ruled by a bloodthirsty dictator, and we have an orange man. Global iNews breaking: 51 Iranian children killed, 60 students wounded after joint US-Israel strikes hit a girls' school in Iran. That's really unfortunate. That's really unfortunate. I'm all for people sharing their opinions, but are you certain that video is recent and not from a decade ago? Are you certain that account is being honest? I'd make sure if I were you. That's a good point. That's a good point. Dr. Malouf, the Islamic regime murdered 50,000 Iranian civilians in 2 days, so yeah, expect leftists to side with them and claim that they were on the right side of history. Yeah, I mean, death bad, hot take. I don't like if this is real and if people were killed in the strikes, but it's like when you weigh that the regime murdered, again, who knows what the number is, it's in the thousands, that much is for sure, but how many thousands is unknown, and I don't know if that like could ever be really resoundingly known. Savvy's correct. Video's from 2014. She doesn't know any of that, but it supports her narrative. The video's probably recent, but Iranians are quite certain the IRGC is behind this. They know for these acts, similar to the Cinema Rex fire incident, mobilization in schools and hospitals, and the ongoing massacre. US is making a stupid decision all around for antagonizing a nation outside its regional prefecture. So like nobody knows what the fuck is going on. Nobody fucking knows. That was confirmed a failed Iranian missile. It was neither the US nor Israel. Do you have source? Do you have a source? Chaya's Clan, team of expert profilers and analysts in forensics, cyber, and propaganda. Unapologetic voices for Israel, truth, and Western survival. They have a Mossad sheriff's badge. I mean, I guess this is an image. All right, there's an image here, but how do we know this is the same? A failed missile launch in Iran caused the projectile to fall on a school. Images captured the moment it failed, fell back to the ground, and struck. The Iranians, just like the Palestinians in Gaza at the beginning of the war, immediately claimed it was a missile fired by the United States or Israel. I mean, I can't really tell if it's the same building from this. Can't really see that. Let's see, is Massey claiming these innocents were killed by the US attack? Yes. Additional footage confirms your post. The Iran regime blames US Israel for the Minab girls' school hit, but footage proves it was a failed IRGC rocket, and the school sits right in their own military zone, packed with IRGC bases. Red triangle is the school, orange rectangle are the military bases. So we have a picture here with the red square being the school, the orange being the military bases. Damn, that school is super fucking close, Jesus. And then the second picture, I guess that building does kind of look, maybe similar. So this is the school. It kind of looks like that. And then this is the military base, and then the gate to the military base. Funny looking ground to air tracks those Merkin missiles have there. I don't know what that means. Was that the girls' school? So there was a real girls' school there. Interesting. Interesting. Even Iranians claim that it was a regime missile that fell on the school. Propaganda unmasked. Did Israel really bomb schoolgirls in Iran today? Bombshell alert. Iranian sources expose the truth that it was the regime's own deadly weapon. Okay. She's got a nose ring, so I don't know how much I trust her, but let's hear her out. Israel has bombed a girls' school in Iran, killing 51 students. Please be in English.
All-girls school in Minab, Iran was hit by Israel, killing 51 schoolgirls. Wait, was it Israel? Or... then why is the IRGC announcing that it was an accidental error and promised serious action? Referring to missiles, by the way. Why?
She showed a post on screen, but it's in Middle Eastern hieroglyphics, so I can't read it.
Why are they posting that they're following up to see who committed this mistake? This is directly taken from the IRGC Telegram channel, by the way. Wait, there's also, in less than 100 meters from the school, there's IRGC structures, including military buildings and a clinic belong to the guard. So the question is, why are military assets positioned next to schools? And why, hours before, there were reports, there's IRGC structures, including military...
So it's not an American or an Israeli base next to the school. It's an Iranian military base right next to the school. Interesting.
Buildings and a clinic belong to the guard. So the question is, why are military assets positioned next to schools? And why, hours before, there were reports of military equipment being moved into schools and hospitals? And why, on January 28th, an IRGC insider published something anonymously stating that IRGC is planting bombs in schools and hospitals, and the plan is to attack these places at the same time as America strikes? Oh wait, this is not even the first time that the Islamic Republic is using...
On January 8th, 2020, an Iran Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, air defense TOR unit fired 2 missiles at the Ukrainian plane en route from Tehran to Kiev, killing all those on board. The strike took place in the context of heightened tensions following the United States' targeted killing of Iran's General Soleimani a few days earlier in Iraq, and Iran's subsequent relations on U.S. bases in that country. What the fuck?
Civilians as human shields. In 2020, they called the downing of Flight PS752 a mistake. Human error was used then as an excuse when there was talks of war between Iran and America. What is journalism if everybody has already taken a side and has a devil in mind?
I mean, that's a fair point. I still see people in chat saying that the girls' school thing was from 2014, but we have multiple people now pointing out that it was a failed missile in current year, and that the girls' school was right next to an Iranian military base, and that apparently they've used this excuse before. That ain't looking good, man. Is this a recent thing that was an accident? Is it a thing from 2014? Grok, evaluate the veracity of the above article. Grokathy. Claim of a U.S.-Israel strike hitting a girls' school in Manab, Iran, killing 51 plus children and wounding 60 plus comes solely from Iran state media and officials. Major outlets like CNN, NPR, NBC, Al Jazeera, and France 24 are reporting these Iranian assertions amid confirmed U.S.-Israel strikes on Iran, but with no independent verification of the school hit or exact tolls yet. Typical fog of war. The attached video is recycled 2014 Persia War school attack footage from Pakistan, not Iran. Globe News has a history of sensationalism and unverified claims. Take Iranian casualty reports, I almost said causality for some reason, with caution until cross-checked. Get grokked, idiot. Well, there we go. There we go. This footage is not current footage, but state media is also reporting that a girls' school has been hit, but there is no independent verification that that even exists. No indication that that exists. So, Marjorie Taylor Greene here reposting what is seemingly fake news, saying, I did not campaign for this, I did not donate money for this, I did not vote for this in elections or Congress. This is heartbreaking and tragic, and how many more innocent will die? What about our own military? This is not what we thought MAGA was supposed to be. Razor Fist responded, that video is from Pakistan in 2014. Also, it's 7:30 p.m. in Iran right now, 7 hours ago. You loopy bint. Why is the sun out? That's a very good fucking point. If she was reposting this, that's a good fucking point. If the time there was in the evening, why would the sun be out? And then he responded, post proof, libertarians are depressingly stupid. I think that's a bad thing to say. I think when somebody wants proof of something, you shouldn't mock them for wanting that proof. Mocking them for wanting that proof is a good way to get them to not believe what you're saying. If you're making a claim, especially if your claim is true and against the fake things being posted, and especially in a fog of war like right now, you should not be calling people stupid for asking for proof. Your party is near death for a reason, and that reason is you. And then he reposted the Grok thing saying the video is indeed from 2014 Taliban. But Razor Fist also posting proof here. Don't insult people for wanting proof. They should want proof. You should be happy that people are asking for proof instead of just blindly believing things. And we have potentially criminal saying something here. The Green Dragon Tavern. I don't know what the fuck that is. But they said 51 Iranian children were just killed by the pro-life party. Oh, the irony. And potentially criminal saying, I too trust everything the Iranian regime tells us. Which, a very good point. Anything that comes from state-sponsored media should be grain of salt. And I'm sure there'll be some people screeching, Kirsche has used the Homeland Security account as proof for what ICE has been doing. Yeah, because there's video. There's video along with that. If they're trying to do the leftist thing where they say a thing and then attach a video that debunks them, I would probably notice that. January 12th, there is something for the Iranian people to handle for themselves. DC Drano calls for minimal U.S. intervention for the Iranian conflict with Phil That Remains and Tate Brown. And Razorfist said the Iraq war one-shot an entire generation of millennials. Zero foreign policy stances outside of it. It's all based this and Deus Vult that, but a single F-22 flies over Cousin Humper Kazakhstan, and their account turns into Green Day lyrics. And he's got a point. Just because we had one forever lasting too long war doesn't mean that every instance of us doing something in the sandbox will turn into that same exact thing.
See a carrier strike group in the area, I don't imagine that there's going to be significant ground troops.
Well,
you just don't have the logistical support.
You can tell they're making the United States is certainly making a play here because the UK has been trying to give away the Chagos Islands. So you're referring to Diego Garcia. It's this massive base that we share with the British. It's off the coast of or it's in the middle of the Indian Ocean. And the British have been trying to give it away for like quite literally.
The Forever War was on purpose. And if you don't want Forever Wars, get involved locally in your politics. Get yourself elected or help someone else get elected that shares your similar principles and outlook for the country. Make sure that Forever War supporters aren't in positions of power. Make sure people who are getting elected are, if we have to go somewhere, if we have to do that, if there's no other option, it should be In and out. Not a forever war lining the pockets of companies and politicians who are corrupt.
No reason, like quite literally social justice reasons. They even admit that. Like it's legitimately for no reason they're giving this island to Mauritius. And the Americans have now stepped in. Like the Trump administration earlier had said like, oh, this is kind of unacceptable. But now we realize like, hey, you're trying to give away Diego Garcia. This is one of the most valuable military bases in the world. Like, what are you doing? We're going to step in and blow that deal up for them to basically give away their territory because we're like, hey, no, we need to be putting pressure on the Iranian regime. We're not going to let you just give away like one of our strategically important bases in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, I really hope we do not put troops in Iran. I think this regime is on its, kind of death rattle breaths here. This seems like the most intense riots that they've had in their 47 years.
Politicians who are corrupt. I think that there are people who get into politics and who want to do something for the good of their country, right? Like, I don't think Brendan Herrera is corrupt. I think he wants to do well by our country and by our citizens by getting elected to his seat of power. And I think he is way fucking better than any of the competition in his area. I think it's very easy to get corrupted by power. So I think sometimes you have people who go into politics and who want to do well, who want to do good, and then they get swept up in a wave of corruption and they become just like all the other politicians. When you elect someone that you like, or even yourself, right? If you get elected because you ran in local politics, you have to understand that that power is probably going to be pretty fucking tempting, right? It's probably going to be pretty fucking tempting to just fall in line with the status quo and say, fuck my constituents like politicians before you did. And you also have that extra cushy knowledge of knowing, if I said fuck my constituents, what are they going to do about it? Look how long it took for anyone to do anything in the first place. I could get away with this for the rest of my life, sail off with tens of millions of dollars, and no one can do anything about it. You just have to kind of keep your wits about you and try to stay the person that you were when you went in, instead of being changed by the black muck that is encompassing our government currently. And I haven't been in that position, so I can't exactly tell you how difficult it is, and I can't tell you how to deal with it. I can only say, try your best to continue to be who you are, instead of getting corrupted by being a politician. Power doesn't corrupt, it attracts the corruptible, it draws in the pathological. Yeah. There's something to be said as well for, like, people who don't want to be leaders are tending to be more fitting for that position, because the fact that they don't want it means that they weren't interested in the power that comes with the role.
But I think this is something for the Iranian people to handle themselves. It kind of looks like they got it. Obviously,
this guy, well, when in January was this? January 12th? He said, it looks like the Iranian people got Are you kidding? Like, I wish we would focus on home instead of liberating other people. I would like to be liberated of commies in my own backyard, but I don't think the Iranian people would have been able to overthrow. I don't know, like, exactly, right? I don't know much about the abilities of each country outside of my own, and I probably don't even understand the scope of the abilities of my own country as far as militaristic standards go. But not everyone can be like Nepal and rush into their leader's mansion and set their leader's wife on fire, right? Like that. Not everyone is capable of doing things like that. So sometimes they need extracurricular assistance. And I don't think the Iranian people would have come out on top without any assistance here, because they were already being slaughtered by the thousands. And that's kind of a problem.
This seems like the most intense riots that they've had in their 47 years. But I think this is something for the Iranian.
Nepal did what? Nepal was, I think, like, literally the first anti-commie uprising that we had seen last year, before all of these other uprisings kicked off. And Nepal, I don't remember what they did with their leader, but they set his wife on fire. They were so fed up with being ruled by communism, they violently deposed their leader and his wife. Bangladesh had it a year before. Oh, I didn't hear about Bangladesh. No. Nepal-based Chud. Very few deaths. Yeah, there were very few deaths in the Nepalese thing.
people to handle themselves. It kind of looks like they got it. Obviously, they are being killed. It looks like at least 500, potentially up to thousands. That's horrible, but I don't think that's a reason to justify our troops going in. If anything, I'd be open to, supplying them with arms through some type of neighboring.
Nope. If I had to make the choice of how to help Iran, right? If it was like, Kirsche, there's no way.
A vigorous spanking because you've been a bad girl.
Shut up. If they were like, Kirsche, there's no way we're not helping Iran. Pick how to do it. I would absolutely pick dropping bombs over arming people there and having them fight. Because the dropping of the bombs would be far less death for both sides. And it would take out the specific targets that you would want to do. This guy's retarded. No, we tried that before. Yeah, he's vouching for another forever war. Yeah, arming them seems like a great way to get weapons in the wrong hands, a great way to have a forever war, a great way to need Americans to go in there and correct what our weapon caches have done. I just don't think that would have been useful or helpful. And I'm not a big war preponderer, so. He blocked you for just saying binders to him? Who? He is retarded. DC Drano is the famous guy holding up the Epstein Bondi binders. Oh, this was one of those fucking fuckwit creators that got one of the binders for the photo op? No wonder he sounds like a retard. Holy shit. Doggo Bongo, thank you. This guy wanted Iran Contra 2 Electric Boogaloo. God damn, what an idiot.
Country.
But why? What do they believe in and what do they want to do? Why should we back anyone in this fight?
It's a tyrannical state sponsor of terrorism in multiple regions across the world, which we've been kind of suffocating them when we took away their oil.
My question though is if we were to give these people weapons, let's say it gets to that point, are we not is it possible to just create another big problem in the Middle East?
Yeah,
but if it results in the overthrow of this tyrannical regime, I mean, for just sending some weapons. But again, I'm
So you're okay if you send weapons and we have to go in and clean it up again, but you're not okay with us going in, bombing specific targets, and getting the fuck out and not having to go back again? I always feel really weird when, as a cartoon fox, I sound like I know what I'm talking about more than a man does. So it immediately makes me feel like, am I missing something here? That doesn't... But no, he's just an idiot. What the fuck? Why is Tim surrounded by quangos? Let's stop meddling in the Middle East altogether. No guns, no money, no troops or bombs. Just let it sort itself out. Again, I would like to focus on home, but if we just completely retreated 100% everything, I think our countries are facing quite a massive issue of stuff coming out of the Middle East. And we kind of need to, you can't do that. We need to look at the Middle Eastern countries and be like, you're not refugees. You can't come here. These are our countries. You fix your own. And some fucking amazing silly Billy from chat found this obscure newscast thing that I talked about from way back in the day when Syria was facing issues, and a lot of Syrian heavy quotation marks refugees were leaving Syria to go to European countries. They weren't stopping in Turkey. They weren't stopping in any other Muslim countries. They were all going to European countries, and they were military-aged men. And the interviewer was talking to women left behind in Syria, asking what they thought of the conflict. And the women left behind said that their men are cowards. Their men are not fighting in a jihad. Their men have abandoned their homes, abandoned their family, abandoned their duty. And the men going to Europe are cowards instead of rebuilding their nation. And I think if we go over there and we bomb a dictator and we say, look, dude, you take control of your country. You do something about this shit. We took out the guy threatening us and wanting to kill us. It's up to you to fix it. And I think if they can't fix it, if they can't get their shit together, right? They don't need to be some advanced fucking Wakanda-esque nation, right? Immediately overnight. But they need to encourage nation building. They need to build their own nation. And I think that that should be something that we encourage other nations to do, right?
I'm not saying we get involved at all. I want as minimal involvement as possible. I'd say let the Iranian people kind of figure this out on their own, and
Agreed,
there's
like
just,
any other country.
Oh, Reza Pahlavi's the guy's name. For some reason I read that and I was like, are they talking about the fucking guy that fucked up Devil May Cry again? Hold on, wait a minute.
I'd say let the Iranian people kind of figure this out on their own, and
Agreed,
there's
like
just,
any other country.
there's going to be a body count. There was in all great revolutions.
So if there's gonna be a body count because there was in all great revolutions, if we go in, we bomb the dictators, and we leave, wouldn't that be a good thing that we have reduced the death count? Like, who would get angry at us reducing the death count during a revolution besides Islamists who supported the regime, communists who also supported the regime, or people who just hate that Israel was involved? Like, which one of those would you want to take seriously at this juncture? The tree of liberty must be watered with the blood of traitors and patriots? And it's like, yeah, we could just let even more people die. And if their revolution fails, we could just look and be like, well, it's not our problem, not our soil, not our people, not our problem. But I don't think in the modern era that's realistically allowed by any country anymore. I don't know. You see like China committing atrocities and nobody really pays too much attention. You know, but it's like you can't take care of everything, but maybe the things that you have the ability to take care of, you try. I still would prefer them to focus on home, but... John Fetterman saying, committed Democrat here. I'm a hard no. My vote is Operation Epic Fury. And this is in response to a screenshot from Axios saying Democrats demand war powers vote after U.S. strikes in Iran. And Fetterman is against that. Fetterman continues to be the most sane person on the Democrat side of the aisle. I liked this funny meme. In all of the depressingness that war is, I liked this meme. Rubio finding out he needs to be the Shah of Iran in 72 hours. I love the Rubio memes, man. We've not legally declared war in half a century. Isn't this like Iran declared war on us like fucking decades ago, and it's just kind of been us side-eyeing each other for the entire time? Rubio looks like, oh no, not again. Rubio's gonna have so many jobs. What does it tell you about Democrats? That a dude that got brain damage is their most reasonable person. Well, if we go by the fact that Redditors are literally missing part of their brains, then yeah, a guy with brain damage would be more intelligent than someone just missing an entire lobe, you know? Large explosion rocks Qatar's capital, Doha. Hopefully... I'm lost. Why is Qatar being bombed? Is this not AI? Is it? Is this an old video? Let's see. Isn't AI? Video shows real panic in Doha from intercepted Iranian missile debris exploding in a residential area today amid Iran's retaliation to a U.S.-Israel strike. Matches confirmed reports and footage from Al Jazeera, Reuters, and CNN. I hate seeing like those three in conjunction because it's like... Those are like three networks that I have like zero faith in.
Oh my god.
I like how the guy turned the camera on him. You gotta get a selfie while you're being bombed. That's interesting. Interesting video. Is everyone in Qatar Indian? Hold on, wait a minute. Ilhan Omar weighing in because obviously, wow, 13.6 million views. That's crazy. She said Iraq was attacked by the U.S. during Ramadan, and it's sickening to know that the U.S. is again going to attack Iran during Ramadan. The U.S. apparently loves to strike Muslim countries during Ramadan, and I am convinced it isn't what those countries have done to violate international law, but about who they worship. That is the dumbest take I have heard on this so fucking far. Holy shit. The community note says, the Iraq invasion began on March 20th, 2003, and major combat operations were declared over on May 1st, months before Ramadan that year. Surveys also show that in Iran, only about 37% of the population identifies as Muslim. I had no idea that Iran was such a small percentage Muslim. That is also very interesting. Well, nearly half describe themselves as non-religious. That's crazy. And she would like to have an Ayatollah in America, so her opinion is invalid. I still have no idea how they were granted any kind of asylum here when supposedly her father was part of the military regime in Somalia that was the oppressors back in that country. Why would we offer asylum to that? That doesn't make any sense. Mainly Shia, most Muslim states are Sunni. Makes sense. Just look at pictures from Iran in the 70s and 80s. Yeah, I mean, they weren't majority Muslim back then, right? But I don't know. I guess I assumed so many decades it would have converted to majority Muslim. That's crazy. Oh yeah, I asked a question, and this guy said, because they had a big meeting and said it was for Israel, I'm not against what you're saying, it's just a more nuanced situation. Iranian people did ask for help, and we held back until Israel said go ahead. Asmongold had a video on it.
So there has been a lot of discussion around...
Did that say Goy Beam?
Israel attacking Iran. Ben Shapiro, if America doesn't step up, Israel might have to attack Iran by itself. Really?
What?
Oh, no. Oh, no. Wow.
There are really several issues that are on the table with regard to
this sounds good to me, right?
Must do or should do. One, no nuclear program. Not no nuclear weapons, no nuclear program. Because, of course, a civilian nuclear program can be converted into a military nuclear program pretty quickly and easily. And the Iranians simply saying we won't build a nuclear weapon is no assurance they won't build a nuclear weapon.
They're going to lie to you because that's what they do. They've been trying to build it for a long time. And if I was the Iranians, I'd build a nuclear weapon. The best thing you can do is neutralize them as fast as possible.
Chat, that's crazy. Did you know that people lie?
You really think someone would do that? Just go on the internet and tell lies?
Of course.
Called the JCPOA, and Barack Obama did it. He also talked there about the ballistic missile development of Iran. But he did not really link that ballistic missile development to concessions that Iran must make. This has been sort of an open divide inside the administration. Some members of the...
You can't trust the government in Iran. Like, any concession they make is just a lie that they haven't told yet.
True.
Administration are pushing the Iranians. They need to give up their ballistic missile program as well, so they can't threaten surrounding countries and allies ranging from Israel to Saudi Arabia and all the way to Europe. Should that be part of the negotiation? There are some people who are saying no.
I really hate the hey, those people with a history of lying who continuously lie in order to continue doing things that they know you don't want them to do. You should just give them the benefit of the doubt. You should just believe them because fuck you. Like, why?
No, that shouldn't be part, which of course I think is insane and ridiculous. Yeah. Because they can attach not only nuclear weapons, but chemical and biological weapons to warheads that are capable of hitting populated centers in allied nations. And as the president says, are building long-range ICBMs theoretically capable of even hitting American territory. And then there's the question of their treatment of their own...
Realistically, Iran is probably not going to bomb the United States. They're probably going to bomb places in Europe and places like Israel and other places that are nearby. The chances of them sending a bomb all the way over to America, very unlikely.
They would have to unironically plan some other kind of like 9/11 attack. Right, which obviously we would want to prevent that as well.
Now, that doesn't mean I don't think you should get rid of Iran's leadership, but like I don't really see that happening just because, again, it's like sphere of influence. Why are they going to go and do this to these people on the other side of the world if they have in their own backyard, they have enemies right there?
Yeah.
Population, the murder of 32,000 people in the streets, the support for regional and global terrorism. Are all of those things going to be on the table in the negotiations, or is the United States going to seek an off-ramp by basically cutting an even weaker version of Barack Obama's JCPOA deal? I don't think it's clear from what the president is saying right there which direction he's going to go. According to CNBC, the U.S. and Iran are poised to hold further nuclear talks.
I don't think there's any way to not know, right? Like, I mean, it's not like we have a giant track record, but he did go into Venezuela. We yoinked the dictator. We got the fuck out. That is the beginning of seeing maybe a pattern can emerge. So instead of being like, no war hawking, I could be like, okay, we went in, we got out, let's see what happens. Would I prefer him to be doing stuff at home? Yes. But if this is what's going to happen, I would prefer in and out, quick yoink, do not stay.
In Geneva on Thursday. Again, he says that his preference is negotiated endpoint here. The question really, in the end, is going to be whether the President of the United States is too concerned about the possibility of a multi-week air campaign against the Iranians to actually do it. And the Iranians just bluff him. That's really all this is about. No one, again, no one is talking about a massive ground invasion of Tehran. No one is talking about a long-term occupation of Tehran. Nobody is talking about hundreds of thousands of American boots on the ground in theater. Nobody's talking about that. The question here for the president is, what is the risk-reward here for a multi-week air campaign to defenestrate the IRGC and the Ayatollahs and the mullahs in Iran? And then whatever happens, happens. Because I will tell you that everyone else is watching. If the United States backs off of this and cuts some sort of unbelievably weak deal, the consequences will not just be for the Middle East, where Israel will...
Chat, I don't listen to Ben Shapiro often. And so, like, I was slowly zoning out a little bit, and he kept turning his head, and I can't stop looking at his ears now, because it kind of makes me think of, like, Keebler Elf. I'm like, damn, those are some pointy ears. That's crazy. I would like to know if he bakes cookies.
Be forced to ramp up its military even more, and probably...
Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy.
Go and attack Iran itself, given Iran's capacity and increasing capacity in both nuclear and ballistic missile development and its renewed attempts to support terrorism. But aside from the Middle East, the Russians are looking on. The president has put a lot of pressure on the Ukrainians and not enough pressure on the Russians. They're probably thinking to themselves, the United States is backing off. They probably renew their offensive in Ukraine, redouble it, triple it. China probably looks at Taiwan and says, why not blockade Taiwan? Who's going to stop us? And the reality is that the United States remains extraordinarily dependent on the microchips that are produced in Taiwan.
They're the biggest company there.
And if you're China, and if your window of opportunity is closing, which it is demographically, the Chinese have a massive demographic problem, they have a major debt problem. If your window of opportunity is closing, you're being outcompeted, particularly in the AI industry.
And if we take over the oil in Iran, that also cuts into Chinese abilities.
Then why not make a move on Taiwan if you no longer
I don't think that's going to happen.
The big red button that President Trump holds.
Maybe I'm wrong,
These
but
are
I
the
don't think so.
consequences of foreign policy. We'll have to see how it plays out.
So he's talking about maybe going and attacking Iran. What is this? So now Ben Shapiro, I feel like, has been on, what is the difference? What's the opposite of a generational run? It's like a generational crash out, I would say.
Well, folks, you may have seen this rumor that we here at Daily Wire are working with Jonathan Majors on a new movie. And that rumor is absolutely true.
What?
Who?
Yeah, I know. There are a lot of people on the left, on X, and they're very upset about this.
I'm as confused as Asmon.
Lots of tweets. Okay, here's the deal, you whiny little bitches. We don't care, because...
I didn't know Ben Shapiro was allowed to swear. Because, like, when he was doing the WAP, he would say wet-ass P-word. So, I didn't think he was allowed to swear. I'm stunned. What the hell? That's truly the most startling information I've learned today. That Ben Shapiro is capable of swearing.
Jonathan Majors was canceled all the way back in 2023. We're ecstatic to bring him back. He's unbelievably talented. And if you're upset now, wait until you see this film. Your heads are going to explode.
Is it going to be like Kanye's music video?
It's pretty spectacular
Is that right?
Stuff that we're doing. That's what we do here at Daily Wire. We fight the fight. We need your help to continue to fight in the culture.
I don't even know what to say.
And to do the thing no one else will do. So please, come join us here at DailyWirePlus.com. Join the fun.
Man, deport Ben Shapiro 2023 was not a long time ago. No, it wasn't. It was actually quite recent.
On the table with regard to what the Iranian regime must do or should do. Concessions that Iran must make. This has
yeah, this is the same thing we just saw. I wanted to make sure. Ben Shapiro says Israel single-handedly attacked Iran and the U.S. sent a meager B-52 bomb run.
What?
One of the most hysterical things that
Even if that were true, any attack Israel does has been funded by American dollars, so it would have been us anyway.
I'm seeing right now are commentators, many on the right, many on the left as well, who are doing this routine where they're saying that somehow Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel is talking Donald Trump into a war. Okay, let us be clear about the timeline here. Last year, Israel
my
unilaterally went after Iran, completely destroyed its air defense resources, and did tremendous damage to IRGC facilities and leadership capacity in Iran.
I mean, they did. That's true.
And then the United States, at the last minute, in Operation Midnight Hammer, authorized by President Trump, flew a single B-2 sortie over a nuclear facility and blew it up in Fordo.
Am I mishearing? Because isn't this Ben Shapiro talking about something that previously happened, not the airstrikes that happened today? Are you talking about something previously? Yes? This is another case of some fucking candy ass posting something old news? I hate these people. Patchouli, thank you. There's a non-0% chance that Ben's wife totally put him in timeout for swearing. But can you imagine, right? Oh, wait, no, that's his sister with the Khazar milkers. Never mind. I was going to say, can you imagine being told by, like, the Khazar milkers lady, like, now, you know you can't have such a naughty mouth and be a good boy at the same time. I was like, that's someone on Pole's fucking fantasy, bro.
That is what happened. One of the most...
Yeah. And because they couldn't... Yeah, that's the most important thing. Yeah, that's like... That's like
thank you, Magic Tinkle Fairy. What the fuck?
And the only thing fucking the United States did was come in and kill the boss. Like, yeah, that's right.
That's a good point.
That's the hardest thing to do. That's the thing they couldn't do. It worked.
Thank you for clearing the Trash Mob's B team. Make way for the real DPS.
By the way, it's gone. Like, that was it. The Buglar's first try. Yeah, we totally fucking obliterated him. What is this? It's insane. The single fuck does that mean? Yeah, I don't understand this at all. It's embarrassing, man.
Ooh.
Oh my fucking god.
Ooh, the jangly keys!
This because Israel doesn't have bunker busters? Yes, of course. Obviously that's the case. I mean, what else do you expect? Sure. What is this? Nico, is this your Ashkenazi Jew? Wait, what?
Ashkenazi!
Says the guy won't even look at him anymore?
What?
Fine says the U.S. needs to deport 20 to 30 million illegal aliens.
I feel like that's 20 to 30 million too little.
The single most important thing we can do to make America more affordable is to deport the 20 to 30 million illegal immigrants in this country. Why?
Is that Seth Rogen's dad?
Immigrants, you bring down housing prices, you bring down auto insurance, you bring down health care.
He is right, though.
This guy is like such a piece of shit, and the reason why I really don't like him is because of half of the things that he says I totally agree with, and half of the things that he says I totally disagree with.
I don't know anything about Randy Fine. I don't know how much of a piece of shit he is.
This is one of the things that I agree with.
And he talked about that, how we're getting record deportations. That's what we need to do to make America more affordable.
Based retard, yes.
See, it's good to hear that we're getting record deportations, but we need to get record deportations like we're a transgender powerlifter in a women's competition, right? Like, that's the level of blowing out records I want to see with deportations.
And start with them? I think so, too. Absolutely, man. Rabbi tells Mike Huckabee that Israelis are excited for the U.S. to attack Iran for them.
We spent 2 days here now, and almost everyone we've met with across the spectrum within the Jewish...
Isn't his hat too big?
None of them have expressed any fear about going into bombshell.
Chat, I don't understand. Chat, hold on. I don't understand. I don't understand. This is like the opposite of gamer headphone dent. How does this happen? If we took his head and we inserted it into the head of a bald gamer dent man, would we finally achieve the Ubermensch? Is that how this works? He has his headphones on backwards. I'm so confused. We must put Bagman and this man together like Lego people and just see what happens. It's for science, chat.
You fools! You've messed with the natural order!
It's for science.
Science. Or ballistic missiles from Iran. Every one of them universally has said to us, you must be excited.
I can't stop looking at it, man. It's like a bowl.
Wow. The miracles that are about to happen. I'm so glad to be conscripted into a holy war.
The hat forms a cone?
To the Israeli people.
Oh no.
Wasn't there a movie about cone-headed people? So wouldn't that be an argument for like the Jews being the chosen people, they turn into super Jews later on.
For 2 years, they're not in fear. At least those who we've met with across the spectrum have all expressed this faith and almost, I don't want to describe excitement, but they've had a front row seat to miracles for 2 years, and they feel like they're about to
front row seat to miracles?
It's another miracle.
Aren't you excited to be here for it? You must feel so grateful. You're going to see the redemption.
It's a miracle, gentlemen.
Come before you.
Wow.
Is that your experience too with the way that Israelis are approaching this potential of having to be inbound? Even as we sit here right now, you know we don't. I'm sure you would have canceled if there were greater concern.
Shit makes me against the Iran war. I mean, I think you can be, and I do think that honestly, Israel being so pushy about it, it does make it, I think it does poison the well for...
I agree with that wholeheartedly. I agree with that completely, because more people, when they see Israel being so aggro on this thing, they're just like, I don't want to do Israel's bidding. I want to do what's good for Americans. I don't want to be feeling like we're listening to them and we're doing things for them. If this is good for us, we should do it, but we shouldn't be doing it at the behest of Israel. And I think what Asmon's probably going to say is that Israel's obviously pushy because it's in their best interest. And we have some interest in it as well, a la cutting off China from more oil supply, getting rid of a dictator that runs a regime that wants death to Americans. A side quest is helping the Iranian people regain control of their country. And yes, obviously this also benefits Israel. But it's like, I don't think that was the primary objective, was to help Israel here.
Any sort of people that are Americans to be advocates for Iran. Because it looks like they're just trying to conscript us into doing this on their behalf. I still think that it's a good idea, but that's completely agnostic of Israel.
Moment at least.
There's nothing to do
but
with them.
In this country, you have to know your whereabouts all the time. Where's the closest shelter? When might a siren go off? Is that part of the consciousness you experience even as you're approaching these coming hours or days or whatever?
I think maybe a good way to figure out, are we doing Israel's bidding, is would we have done this if Israel doesn't exist? Right? Like think about what's going on with Iran and like the forever wars that they commit upon each other there without Israel even being in the picture. And Iran still wants death to America, and Iran still was oppressing their own people with a fanatical regime. So I think even if Israel was not a real place, I think that we probably still would have done this.
What might happen next?
It's always amazing to me that Israelis don't have this fear of what could happen. They don't curl up in a fetal position and crawl up under their bed and refuse to get out and go anywhere each day. They live their lives. They live it to the fullest. I was here September of 20.
Well, it should be a good idea to bomb another country, because they're trying to make nukes and they say they want to blow us up.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah, pretty much.
Kill them before they kill you.
True.
If Iran was in a position to blow up the United States, they'd do it.
Yep.
So I think we have an obligation to blow them up first.
That's a very, very fair point.
To do with Israel, we have people burning American flags here. We need to clean up our country first. Listen, if you don't think that this is... Look, I don't want to debate with you about this, because anybody... I feel like you can't debate with people about the Iran war and like attacking and stopping Iran, because these people don't have any concept of like permanence. To the extent that you allow a government to consolidate power, resources, and weaponry, and this government and this group of people wants to blow you up and attack you and attack your bases and do...
And they're constantly saying, we're going to make these weapons, we're going to get these weapons, we're going to kill you. Like, why would you not take that seriously? You know, like, it wouldn't make any sense to just continuously let them do whatever they want until they attack you. Right? There's something to be said for dealing with a problem before it gets worse. And there'd be no reason to wait for Iran to gain this ability to attack us harder. My English is slipping. It's 8 p.m.
These things and fund other people that attack you, you are effectively letting a problem fester and get worse. The sooner that we shut it down completely and get rid of them, the better off everybody else in our country is going to be. Because to the extent that they can do it, they will do it. And that's the main point. They are going to try to do it, and that's enough. Never let somebody, like, if they're telling you what you're going to do, what they're going to do, believe them. It's silly not to. And, that was his point. Yeah, of course we should be aggressive against them. And when has Iran attacked us? When has Iran attacked us? Didn't they just recently try to attack one of our fucking, a base over there? And they've attacked us through proxies. That's the issue. What do we gain from this war? You gain not having a country in the Middle East, or not Middle East technically, right? What you gain is you have a country that's now no...
Is Iran not technically in the Middle East? Hold on, wait a minute. Waiting for Iran to become an existential threat for longer than some of the people in this chat have been physically alive? True? Technically, no, it is. Central Asia. Iran is technically a Persian country. Technically West Asia. It is, but they're not Arab technically. Interesting. Iran funded insurgents in Iraq and Afghanistan that killed our troops. They attack us all the time. Technically, it's the beginning of Asia. Interesting.
Longer able to build weapons and blow you up. Not directly. Yeah, exactly. I just attacked a base in Qatar. They shot our aircraft carriers. Yeah, exactly. Like, again, and to the extent that
it's in the sand place. Yeah, I don't really usually say Middle East. I just say sandbox. So it's like where the Middle East ends and Asia begins. I don't know. That's an imaginary line in my brain at the moment. Dreddy, thank you. Some honorable chatters are confused. The Iranian regime would want America gone with or without Israel because U.S. is big Satan, mashallah. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, even if Israel wasn't real, imagine a world with no Israel and no Jewish people. Not in an anti-Semitic way. But imagine that for a second. Iran would still want us dead. They would still want to attack us. Israel has nothing to do with them, like, wanting us away. We are, like, the Western issue that they want to deal with. Iran is not sandbox. It's like 80% mountains. Okay, so it's like a sandbox with some architecture, all right? Like, it was promised to us across the pond. They say Asian, where we would say Middle Eastern, which is also confusing. You see, I don't like that the British do that, for especially Pakistanis, because, like, yeah, sure, it's in Asia, but when you say Asian, no one is thinking of Pakistanis and Indians. That's just not real.
Can't, not because they don't want to. That's the real reason. Iran attacked U.S. via Hezbollah. Yeah, any actions by any of those terrorist organizations should be treated as an action by Iran. I mean, I don't know how it says Iran has begun taking Americans hostage.
Was that true?
Right. You can't negotiate with terrorists. The faster that we blow them up, the better. That's what I think.
And I think we need to stop negotiating with our homegrown domestic terrorists, a la Antifa. These are also people that cannot be reasoned with and should not be negotiated with.
No, we should do that. We should have done that months ago. Honestly, we should have done it years ago. This should have happened a long, long fucking time ago. Please don't ban him. He's not going to get banned. Why would he get banned? So, yes. And Iran recruited gangs into Sweden. Yeah, they're funding this entire thing. They're a huge problem, man. And, North Korea has nukes and they still don't attack the U.S. Why would Iran? Because Iran isn't North Korea. North Korea is in a completely different position. North Korea is effectively a proxy state to China. So Iran is not in that same position to China or Russia. They're kind of their own position. So that's the reason, too. And also, like, North Korea is a lot smaller and less influential than Iran is. Iran's a lot bigger.
Interesting. And so I posted, hey, I got a question about Iran. Because, like, I willingly say frequently, like, I don't know what the fuck is going on in sand countries, because my position is typically, don't send American bodies there, don't send American money there. That's kind of my position on sandbox things. But there are a lot of people that got real fucking mad that I asked a question, and it was kind of funny. And so there were some like good replies. There were some good replies here, and this guy said, interest align. Israel has a vested interest in the overthrow of the regime as well, and people like to make the excuse that Israel has a higher control over our government than they actually do. Realistically, there's a part of this that could also be true. People are tired of the forever wars in the Middle East, and so the very fact that the president of peace is starting another one, people are going to grasp at influences to blame. And I mean, again, there's something to be said through peace through power, right? If you are standing next to someone that keeps saying, I'm going to kill you, I'm building weapons to kill you, My entire goal is to make sure you and your civilization are turned to dust. I fucking hate you. And they keep doing that thing where it's like, I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. Oh, I touched you. I'm not touching you. Eventually, you're going to have to deal with that, right? You just punch them in the face and hope that they stop. You gotta kind of do something violent to defend yourself in that manner. There's also the issue that we just bombed them 6 months ago, and now all of a sudden we're going to a full-scale military operation there, with part reasoning for it to be regarding ICBs. That could threaten EU countries as well as our foreign military bases. A lot of influences seem to be not as motivated for America first in any domestic manner, which is what most people focus on. I mean, again, I think we should be focusing on that, but like, we keep getting roadblocked on every corner. What do we do about this? What can we do with our domestic issues? I would like to know. I would like to maybe understand what can be done when progressive activists continuously roadblock things. You know, it sucks, but let the enemy throw the first punch. That way we have a valid reason to retaliate. I don't think that would be a good thing to do, right? I don't think we should wait for Iran to commit a terror attack on US soil before we punch back. I think the preemptive strike is a good thing to do in this situation. Or they said false Iranian people, especially feminists, wanted the current regime. In fact, left-wingers, especially feminists, fought a revolution to put the current regime in power. By claiming that Iranian people don't want it, you're claiming that wishes of women do not matter. And then he linked a post by someone who is very anti-regime and explained that, yeah, everything that guy said is true. The leftist women in 1979 wanted the regime, and they got killed for it. That's just kind of what happens. That's just kind of what happens. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Useful idiot feminists did want the regime change in the 70s. Many got slaughtered. Have you not seen the current protests? Like, what are you doing? And also, yeah, what communists want doesn't fucking matter. And he said, so you're saying that Freudian slip. While feminists are shouting refugees are welcome here as millions of Muslims move into Europe, those same Muslims will mass execute the same feminists once Islam takes root. And I'm just like, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about, because I'm not a feminist and I don't hold open border policies. But yeah, that's exactly what would happen. Any kind of oppressive regime that takes over, the useful idiots they use to get into power are too idealistic. They're the beautiful thinkers. And when they realize that the utopia that they planned on isn't actually what's going to happen, they're going to become the most radicalized against what they helped bring to power. So they are going to be the ones taken out first. And then this guy immediately about turns and he goes, sorry, how to bait better. Sorry, I was just mocking feminism and pro-Islam idiots as a sort of devil's advocate character. It looks like I was playing it too convincingly. Don't get mad, Silver Fox. I was just joking a little bit.
Oh, look, an idiot. Let's point and laugh.
Where was the joke? Where was the fun? What are you talking about? There was no punch. This is literally I was just pretending to be retarded. And then like he tried linking this like to so many other people. Like there's a bunch of other people that called him out for like, what the fuck are you talking about, buddy? And he just kept linking his one post about how he's like some fucking giga master troller. And then he tries to do a victory lap, probably the best bait this year. Over 30 people unquestioningly believed it. I should really start selling bridges. Unquestionably believed what actually happened in reality? What does he mean by, like, that doesn't make sense. What? And then, like, anytime he didn't already say that to somebody who's like 31, like counting the +1, counting the number of people taking him accurately talking about history. Seriously, like what are we doing here? People like him are why conversations about this shit are so fucking difficult. We had the Spoon Man being like, why are you people so dense? Asks question about a topic I readily admit I don't know a lot about, gets replied, how are you so dense? And his response is, you think those protests were legit? Really? It sounds like he got one-shotted by that gray matter or whatever the fuck that was throwing out all of the Iranian regime propaganda. How dare you not know everything? Oh my god. And then I think someone responded to me and I responded to them. So this guy was like, the reaction I suspect is due to your premise. You believe that people protested all around Iran. You should know by now how the media machine and color revolutions in particular operate. Which, Yeah, but it's not the Iranian regime talking about the protests, which, after having the context of the propaganda from the regime saying that the riots were set up by the US and Israel and the protests were actually the people backing the Iranian government protesting against the riots started by Israel and the US, his statement makes so much more sense now. Because he probably thinks I'm talking about those protests. And so I'm like, the Ayatollah's installation was the color revolution. Communists and feminists supported him being installed in the 70s. They got slaughtered. I'd err on the side of anti-commie and anti-Islamist government protests being real. Because they usually are. People protesting their government when their government is either communist or Islamist is pretty fucking normal throughout history. Additionally, the regime shut down Iranian internet to prevent information from coming out quickly. The protests seem very real by these metrics, in my opinion, but maybe I'm missing something, and that's pretty much what this whole stream was, to get the, what am I missing? What's happening here? Also, not saying we necessarily should get involved just because the protests are real before someone inevitably claims that. And the person replied, his installation being a color revolution does not disqualify his deposement from being so as well. And I don't really get that one particularly. Many installed leaders fall out of favor. Yeah, but usually they don't get like violently removed. All three major French revolutions can be understood as color revolutions. I don't know enough about the French revolutions to say if that's true or not. It makes more sense if you don't assume the goal is control of the state. As for the protests, the force-seeking revolution would of course prefer them to be real, but it is not necessary. What the fuck is he saying? Hold on. It makes more sense if you don't assume the goal is control of the state. But that is the goal. If you get rid of the Ayatollah and the Shah also says that he wants to be the leader again and the Iranian people would prefer the Shah to the Ayatollah, doesn't that make the goal control of the state? I'm a little confused. The force-seeking revolution would of course prefer the protests to be real, but it is not necessary. I don't understand. The purpose of those protests seems to me more about narrative control. It is the frame presented to the herd about how they think. What about the thousands of people who have been killed that we only know about because of the Starlink people having access to get that information out? I don't understand. I'm very confused, actually. But this was like, this guy was nice in responding to me. He didn't immediately call me like a fucking retard or anything, you know? So I was like, I want to respond. I want to see his perspective. You know, I want to understand. And there's some other guy here that said, you voted for Trump because we wanted to avoid war with Iran. I'm going to be honest with you. The 3 times I voted for Trump, Iran didn't even enter my fucking brain. America first. I don't care about the Middle East. True. What happened to that? Thousands of Americans are going to die because the president couldn't keep a promise and you want us to be happy. Well, where did I say that? So I was like, whole lot of projection. I didn't say people should be happy. I asked, why are people saying it's for Israel when the people of Iran want the Ayatollah out? Regardless of whether one thinks we should intervene or not, I'd like to understand this. And I feel like I've made myself pretty clear where it's just like, I don't know if this is going to be a good thing that we did long term or not, but I don't think we did it at the behest of Israel. I think that there have been some arguments that have made where it looks like, yeah, this could be good for us long term. Iran was a country very hostile towards us, wanted to kill us, was getting weapons programs to try and achieve that goal. So I think this might be a good thing in the end. Maybe. If we start dropping boots on the ground, sure, I'm going to be upset about that. And so, like, you know, my response here got responded to. War with Iran only benefits Israel. I don't know if I would call it a war. If we go in, bomb them, the regime is dead, we leave. What do we get from destroying Iran aside from more immigrants and moral grandstanding from leftists and Muslims? What do we gain from destroying Israel's main rival and enemy? I don't know about the main rival. I don't know enough about the sandbox to know like who's the main character and who's the side characters, right? But like, I don't think we're gonna get more immigrants if people from Iran are like, oh, I need to immigrate to the US because my oppressive regime is now dead. We should rightfully say, no, idiot, you stay there and you build your own country. Does it make sense to me where this is coming from? And also, as I've learned today through stream, We gain the fact that China has less oil access. We get access to that oil, hopefully, potentially. We also no longer have a regime in the sandbox that is wishing death and trying to acquire weapons systems that would achieve American death. Europe also would not have to worry about attacks from Iran, considering they're much closer to Iran than the US is. That is helping another ally that is not Israel. And this Kyle Wilson guy, I thought he brought up an interesting talking point, where he said, I always wonder how Nazi Germany would have done if Hitler had never tried to take more territory. We did not during World War II because the Holocaust was a great evil. We did it because Mustache Man went after our shit. How many people would treat it like they treat Iran now? I'm saying if Hitler had never done that, if he had kept Japan from attacking Pearl Harbor, if Nazis still ruled Germany and the Holocaust still happened exactly as it had, would we have cared? Because the Middle East is full of countries that commit atrocities on their people. We as a people always say never again when talking about the Holocaust, but Iraq, Iran, even China, they say again all over their people. They just aren't threatening to do it to us, and so we let them. I would push back that Iran is threatening to do it to us, and that's why we stopped them primarily. But I thought it was an interesting point of view because, yeah, we do say never again. We do say we're not going to let that happen. But did we enter World War II because of the atrocities that were happening or because Pearl Harbor was attacked? We can't police the whole world, though, and I agree. And I don't exactly like the idea of being world police, but considering we're the strongest country, it seems like regardless of what we want, we're kind of fated to that position, unfortunately. And then, like, someone else was like, maybe VTubers should literally just shut the fuck up about foreign policy. You're all very unserious people. That's very interesting, guy. I was like, asking questions to better understand the situation. Maybe shut the fuck up. Yeah, you're the unserious one, bro. And then he does the I'm just asking questions thing. This is the typical pseudo-skepticism slop people do when they're genuinely not curious for answers. Not curious for answers, just had a 5-hour plus stream talking about all of the things I don't know and getting informed about. But just pushing their narrative, it's completely transparent. I was like, yeah, I have no narrative. I'm literally just asking a question. And he said, you're literally a political VTuber. You have a narrative. Talking politics doesn't necessarily mean you're like specifically guiding people to one answer all the time. And I think it would be pretty bad to talk politics as a VTuber and just be like, believe everything I say 100% of the time. I think like the only time I get frustrated when there's like super pushback on things is when it comes to Bridge. When it's like, I'm literally showing you what's happening. I'm literally just showing you their words and their videos and their articles, and they're saying what they're doing. They're not hiding it. They're just saying it. And people are still like, oh, well, that's not a big problem. That's not anything we really need to worry about. And it's like, what? And I replied to this guy, I was like, yeah, so you know my entire opinion on the Iran issue without me ever stating it. And while I'm asking questions to obtain more information so I can try and figure out how I feel about it. And he said, sure you don't. Or sure I don't. I know your MO. Pretend to not have an opinion. Pretend to solicit viewpoints. Find some low IQ opinion, which differs from mine. Crush them. And say, see, all lefties are retards. It's all so boring. It's like, unfortunately for this guy, he's the low IQ opinion in this scenario. I didn't seek him out because it was a low IQ opinion. I seeked him out because he just said something really silly. And I wanted to see where it would go. Like, if he had information to impart to me, surely my second post would have told him I'm literally trying to figure something out. But I said, I know absolutely nothing about your politics. He didn't say anything that made me think he was a leftist, so I don't know why he would assume that I thought that. I don't know anything about your politics, and it's people on the right who are saying this is a pro-Israel op. I don't pretend to not have an opinion. I prefer to say when I'm not informed on a topic enough to have an opinion, so I don't look like a retard. I try best. An attempt usually happens. The face when they discover they're the low IQ in the discussion. Truly a dark day. And he said it's literally people on both sides of the aisle saying it's an Israel op. I don't think I needed to mention that people on the left would think it's an Israel op. I feel like that's just by default what they believe at this point. But then, like, when major people on the right who aren't known for, like, schizo-Israel conspiracies start saying that, it's like, okay, that's a little weird. That's a little weird. There was a really good thing here. Where is it? Oh, shit. Oh, shit. It's deleted. No! No! Oh, man. I'm gonna bring up the screenshot, because I screenshotted it. Oh, God, hold on. It was so fucking good. I laughed my ass off. Cobalt Ogre Meg is saying that, and then having I love Israel, I don't know what you're talking about, and this other person saying that he has posts lightly praising Hitler. I was like, holy shit, the two political genders. Why is Twitter such a funny ass cesspool? Never fucking deleting this app, man. Never fucking deleting this app. But like the amount of people that just got upset that I was unironically asking for more information and to like wonder why people are just calling it an Israeli op. Because again, I didn't know much about the sandbox. Still probably don't, but I feel like the stream was both fun and informing. Yay! War can be fun! We're leering! I was like, I don't know. I feel like this kind of reaction to people wanting answers and wanting to inform themselves is why so many people, especially in like content creation sphere, will instead just pretend like they know something and then double and triple down even if they're wrong, because it's better to pretend to know than get ridiculed for not knowing. And that's kind of like a sad state of things, honestly. And this guy, I even thanked him for his reply, because I was like, hey, you're like the first person who gave like a super long, well thought out reply. And he quoted, the people of Iran were against the current regime and protested all over the country. That's what I said. And he said, yes, quite a few of them. The situation was horrible, mostly due to the terrible economy. He's quoting me again, saying the regime started mass killing protesters. And he said, also true. Quoting me saying, how are some turning the US strike into a doing Israel's bidding thing when the Iranian people want the regime change? And he said, because Israel's biggest enemy right now is arguably Iran. Otherwise, Americans in general do not care what happens in other nations. Which is true. My opinion has always been, I don't want Americans going to the sandbox. I don't want my tax dollars going to the sandbox. He continues, make no mistake, Iranians may, in fact, also benefit by this, but that's a side effect. The American government is not really interested in freedom, which, you know, that's true. At best, Iran will get an installed government that answers to Israel. P.S. This is not necessarily bad, by the way. Some nations really suck at running themselves and perhaps, frankly, shouldn't. For example, most of sub-Saharan Africa, which was run far better under Europeans. Kind of how my nation really sucks at the whole democracy thing. Except some nations can't do anything. I was like, I get it. I get the point that he's making. And it kind of makes sense. Sometimes maybe you need to install a leader if people can't govern themselves. But I would prefer to be like, hey, Venezuela, we yoinked your guy. Govern yourselves. Hey, Iran, we yoinked your guy. Govern yourselves, right? Like, I don't want to see some sort of weird puppet state where we're massively involved. We're sending massive funds. We have people going over there. I don't want to do that. Fucking Milo over here. Allah preserve Ayatollah Khomeini. What the fuck? What? Like, this is what I was seeing, and I was like, what the fuck are we doing? What the fuck is this? Is like the kind of stuff that made me ask that question, because like, what is happening? We have like Jake Shields. At this point, I'm hoping Iran has a nuclear missile. What? Jackson Hinkle? I don't even know who that is. Give Iran the nuke? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing here? Cannot properly articulate how funny this crash out is. Who even is this? Caitlin Johnstone? I don't know who that is. You're not surprised by Jake. Jackson's a professional tard. I don't know who that is. Obviously, Hassan Abi supporting collection of scum. I don't know who these people are. Myron Gaines. Nobody wants this war. We voted for no new wars, not wars for Zionists. This war has zero strategic benefit to the U.S. I don't know who this is. Alexander Dugin. The West is pure and absolute evil. Continuing the streak, we have Cenk Uyghur, obviously going to be against it. Andrew Tate, he's a retard, but he says nobody wants this war. Kim.com, hackers of the world unite for Iran if the US attacks. Sovereign Bra, whoever that is. I'm old enough to remember when we voted for no new foreign wars. Ben Rhodes, there's no legal basis for the war. There's no imminent threat that demands the war. There's no stated objective for this war. The objective is, fuck you, we killed your dictator. Hodge twins, the only reason we attacked Iran is because of Israel. Sneeko, Trump at 80 years old would rather drag America into World War III than have his Epstein blackmail footage released. Fuck Israel and fuck all their supporters. What is this? What is this? There's no such thing as legal war. What the fuck? Now, children, if you want to commit a war, you have to ask nicely.